Clean them out. Down and quiet.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whatever time it is where you're watching this recording from, because this is our first not live RCRC podcast. Trying something new this week, trying to exercise some technical demons that we have been struggling with for the last few weeks. And so we're going to try this recorded. So if I say something stupid, I can take it out. Chris is doing the editing, so he probably will leave it in. He might even put it in a couple of times. so
you might slow down the footage just so you can hear it a little bit better.
Exactly, and make a meme out of it.
Replay of Tiny's Bulber.
I'm really giving him a little too much power of this. This is going to be sketchy. This might be the only one we ever record, so we'll see. Chris, you'll have to pace yourself so that you don't lose your opportunity. So, but welcome to the podcast, RC Roach Man. Does anybody know your real name? Because Chris did not. Do very many people know your real name? All right, Cade Williams. Yeah, a lot of people do not know my real name. So, but my wife and my mom call me Brian, but everybody else calls me Tiny, including my kids. And a lot of people now at work, because the word got out, and now it's just a funny thing that people do. So,
the first time I went racing with you and your wife was with us, and she walked in the camper and goes, "Hey, Brian." I'm like, "Who the heck is Brian?"
Yeah. I tell people when I meet them, my real name's Brian, but if the house is on fire, don't yell Brian, because I won't pay attention. So,
notice today, the intro video, the whoever's in the lead, he jumped the tone.
Oh,
he did do that. It was also very loud.
Yes, it is very loud.
He did warn me, but it was very loud.
I think that is intentional. So it's intro music. So if you were waiting for the live and you went away to get some cheese, then you would hear the blasting nitro, and you're like, "Oh, I'm about to miss the beginning of the most important podcast in all of RC." So I think that's
the cool thing about this week being pre-recorded, I can go in and I can take that little segment, so you don't get blasted in the ears.
Turn it down. Yeah.
Yes, just a little bit.
You can turn it down.
Yes. So. Well, so what we like to do typically is get a little background. Tell us, I've seen a bunch of your videos with Lefty and maybe some other folks, but I've heard your story a little bit about how you got into RC, how you got into being RC. I call you an RC influencer. I don't know if you take that title on yourself, but just the standard. Yeah. So why don't you give us a background of how you got into RC, and then how you got into YouTube, and that kind of stories.
So I originally got into RC back in 2012, which is mainly from Christmas, from getting an HPI Sprint 2 Drift from my dad, or from Santa and my dad. But basically, eventually I got really bored of it, because I only had parking lots and the tennis court to drive around in, and I wanted to start racing it, or at least that's what I wanted to do. When my dad wanted to do was slot car racing, right? But there weren't any slot car tracks around, so we looked around for RC tracks, and we found a place called Hot Shot RC in Marietta, and that's where I got the itch to race RC cars, for on-road at least. They had an off-road track on the other side of the building, but on the one side of the building, they had an on-road carpet track that I started racing at. And my first racing rig that I got was an X-Ray T3 touring car that was used. And at that point, I started to race a little bit more, pretty much every single Wednesday and every other weekend, something like that. But due to some school problems and the track closing down, I couldn't really pick it back up again. So for a long time, I took a long break until about 2020 when I used, I used the stimulus package to buy a B6.2 because I learned that there was another track nearby called AJC Speedway that was turf that you can see in some of my earlier videos. And that's how I got back into it in 2020. Now, the reason why I got into YouTube was because, frankly, boredom. My dad basically told me, like, look, you have a talent for speaking, you have an intelligent voice, so why don't you use this camera that I have, a Sony Nex6 that's currently broken right now, but I have another screen for it. But yeah, just at that point, I just decided to try and learn video editing. I tried to learn basically everything that I could to sort of make content. And I didn't think it would really go anywhere initially. But once the first video started coming up, it was like, oh, people actually enjoy this. And once I started to get good at or better at it, specifically with my history of Team Associated video, that's when that's when I started really gaining traction online.
Mhm.
And that's when I'm like, okay, yeah, I can do this. And that's when that's basically when I decided to get into RC, not RC, but YouTube as well as RC.
Yeah, most of the stuff that I've seen has been kind of history of, or, kind of documentary style, the different characteristics of different chassis and stuff like that, where it's, I guess it's, most have had a history. I guess you do a history kind of, angle for a lot of your videos where it's this is how we got here kind of a deal.
Yeah.
Is that just your interest, or is that where you kind of playing off what the audience, you think the audience wants to hear? Like, how did you come to that?
It sort of fluctuates based on what I like doing at the time.
Okay.
Like when I did the Team Associated videos, I went into a history of binge. When I started sorry, I'm stumbling over my words. I started to find a great interest in the history of RC and where we got here. And that was also very receptive with people at the time. This is before like Team Associated released like 17 different re-releases. So and eventually I got into all the vintage stuff, yeah. And then eventually the guys at RC Racing TV hit me up and asked me if I wanted to do videos for them with or help them make videos on history of RC.
That's cool. So I know you probably don't sit around and count your subs, but what are your numbers? Like, where are you at for different channels?
I think I'm at 11,000 something. 11,000 right around there on YouTube, yeah.
Is that all you do is YouTube, or do you post to Instagram and TikTok as well?
I post pretty much exclusively to YouTube. I post to Facebook occasionally. I probably should post to Instagram more often, but honestly, 2 social media is enough for me. Like the brain rot that I see in Instagram is like, I don't want to deal with that. I already see enough of it on Facebook.
Well, that's kind of one of the reasons I do post to Instagram and TikTok, because there's so much nonsense out there. I'm like, hey, let's get some like interesting content out there instead of just the stream of idiocy that you see on some of these platforms. But I'll tell you a little trick that I got from Alex from the Slow is Fast podcast. Opus Clips is AI clips, and you can connect your social media platforms directly to it, and it'll schedule post to all your platforms, so you can hit it like once a day, and it'll clip up your long form into short form, and you can tell it 1 to 3 minute videos, less than 30 seconds, whatever your target is, and it'll go find clips, and it'll also rate the clips for virality, I think is the term. So it'll tell you based on its algorithms what clips are going to be more popular, statistically, and it puts them in order. So it'll make like in a 45-minute podcast, it'll make like, I don't know, 20 or 30 different clips, and I usually post the top 6 or whatever it is. I'll post one per day, because I don't think you don't get much out of the algorithm if you post more than once a day. So if you post 10 a day, it's better to post 1 a day per 6 days than it is to post 10 in one day. So
Yeah.
based on my little bit
Well,
of
the thing is for me, or at least what I've seen with my own content, or at least what I want to do with my own content, is I see two sides of RC content right now, and I sort of fall in the middle of it. You have the long form podcasts, and you have the short form shorts. And my worry with even being here, not worry being here, I like being here, but with the long form podcast is like, you already need to be into RC to watch the whole thing or listen to the whole thing. And for people like, like Race Like a Girl, who did those like short, like pit stop videos that got like millions of views.
Yeah.
Even though they got millions of views, I'm not sure how many people it actually got into the hobby.
Oh, sure.
Because when it comes to shorts and stuff like that, 90% of the time, the number one thing you do after you watch a short that you're somewhat interested is like and then swipe up.
Yeah.
You're not going to look into it. You're not going to look more into it. Whereas with short, sort of like mid-form content, I like to call it, where me, Ryan Stiles Harris, Mark Santamaria, JV Racing, and a couple others are sort of in that middle ground of trying to keep people's attention for a longer period of time and get them more interested rather than just shooting for views.
Yeah, and I agree. We intentionally try to keep our stuff to an hour or less, and even that's a long time. I love Lefty's stuff, but I have to watch it in chunks, or unless I'm building a kit, that's the only time I ever watch an episode end to end. Like that one that was like 7 hours.
Oh God!
Yeah, that was funny. That was funny.
I think I was driving to LCRC when that was when it came out, and I feel like I came in the middle of it, and it was already 3 hours in, and I watched about 30 minutes of it, and I was like, I just can't keep my focus for that long. It's so much, information. So I try to keep our stuff consumable. And keep.
That was a wild day because I was watching it for a little bit and I realized, and then I looked and he had been live for I think 3.5 hours at that point. And Petco was he was done. He was tired. And then at that, like right at the 3:45 mark, Lefty's like, let's get JQ in here. And they went for another 4 hours with JQ.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's too much. Yeah, so
I
that's
don't
my
think
goal.
I'm gonna be. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Good.
Okay, I was gonna say I don't think I'm gonna be doing a 7-hour stream anytime soon, unless it's a joke.
Yeah, no. I'm curious how many times Lefty had to get up and go to the bathroom. Like, is that like?
I
don't think I can do a 7-hour podcast. Like, Brett's podcast when they used to do the Wheel and Trigger podcast, they would take beer breaks, and so they would get up and take pee breaks, and Chase would get up and get rid of beer and then get more beer, and so that's not.
I can barely get. When we're done with our hour, I'm like, I gotta go.
I know. Yeah.
Bye-bye. See you later.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think I think that this format will be better because we can edit out some of the stuff that maybe drones on and doesn't really get to a point or something like that. And I want to have specific topics, and I want to learn in YouTube how to do the chapters or whatever, where you have the breaks and you can go from
Have different segments in the video?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah,
Like-
yeah.
Okay. I can probably
Yeah,
show you
so-
that.
Is that in studio? I guess.
That is in studio, yes.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see when we cut this one up and see what we get out of it. And so well, let's jump into some topics. And speaking of making some chapters, let's jump into some topics. I was gonna give you guys a kind of recap of the RC Academy that they had up at LCRC, or did you see the announcements for that?
A little bit. I saw some posts of Paul Ciccarello like
Mhm.
driving around, but that was about as far as it went for me
Okay.
because it didn't really hit my algorithm, let's say.
Yeah. Well, they only posted a little bit of video from this weekend. They did a bunch of shorts, so a couple of interviews, but Krista said she's got a lot of editing to do. It was a really busy weekend, so she was busy and didn't get a lot of chance. And Toby was here from 46 Media recording and taking pictures all weekend, so they've got a lot of content, but it's going to have to be edited. And so high level overview was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday, we started at 8:30 in the morning, and they started out pretty early on with they did half an hour practice, and then we did 3 laps on camera. So they used the 46 Media used their mover camera, and it was one person on the track at a time, and all the instructors were up, in the driver's stand taking notes and giving some feedback. And so the instructors, and I know I'm going to miss some guys, but Drake was here, Paul Chicky was here, Jason Schreffler from Sparco was here. I cannot remember Mike's last name. He's one of the local Sparco drivers too. What's that?
Mike Pavia.
Yeah. And then let's see who else was here. Vin Manchanda and Aiden Manchanda from Associated were here. I think I'm missing somebody, but I'll remember as we go. But so it's essentially we did 3 laps. They videoed it, and then at the end on Sunday you did another 3 laps and they videoed it, and then they took that and Krista synced the start of each one of the videos, and they were side by side on the video. So there's 2 videos. Your first three laps on Friday were on the left, and then on the right was your 3 laps on Sunday. And they matched it up so that your first lap you crossed the start finish at the same time, and then you could see on the right how much faster you were, because it was basically like a head-to-head race, and you could see where you were on the track. And some people would have essentially lapped themselves in 3 laps, just in the difference between Friday and Sunday. So I definitely got faster. I think my fastest lap on Friday was into the 40s, 41, 42. And then on Sunday, my fastest lap was a 39. And then I knew I needed to make some ESC changes that I didn't get to make before the videoed laps. And so the next practice session I went out, I actually went down to 37. So over the course of the weekend, now I didn't have any laps on the track before Friday. So I missed last race, and it's a new layout, but still 41 seconds to 37 seconds. Lots of car changes. Yeah. So, and honestly, if you can get that 30, that middle high 30s is like the bottom of the B main. And if that actually, if I can run that pace based on last race, I will go from, C and D main up to the B main with those couple of seconds changes. So we'll see, as they say, that's why they run the race, but we'll see how we're racing this weekend. So we'll see how much actual change. So it'd be nice to see like instant feedback, like, next weekend's a race weekend.
So
Yeah.
I found out the other day, or I think this morning I saw it on Facebook. The Roar president, Clayton, I've never seen the man touch an A-scale buggy in my life. He was up there. with a nitro car with a painted body. So obviously it's something he's done before, but
Oh, so
that was
Clayton's,
shocker.
that's the Roar president?
Clayton Young is the Roar president.
Clayton?
Yeah, he's a big on-road
on-road
guy.
guy.
He's actually he's an on-road national champion, but he's on the X-ray team for 10 scale off-road. I guess for 10 scale off-road, he's on the X-ray team. He's Automatics for on-road. I don't know that honestly that buggy looks. I can't tell what this.
Can you bring it up on the?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I remember that name. I didn't make the connection. There was a couple of on-road guys here. Actually, there was some oval guys that had converted over to eight scale.
Yeah, but
so,
I've never seen him touch he barely runs off road anymore. It's mostly all on road. But that's
a TLR.
That makes sense. Before he ran X-ray off road. He was running Losi.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's probably an old car he hasn't touched in years, and he decided to dust it off.
That's fair.
Yeah, it was really cool. And some guys, missed the first day and couldn't make it, and still only got 2 days, but it was $650. So some people are like, oh, that's so expensive. But if you think about it, at LCRC, it's $60 for a class on a normal race weekend. And with that class, if you max it out and you really come up here and practice on Thursday and Friday, and you don't do anything else, you take vacation and you get all the practice time, you could get, a fair amount of practice, a couple of hours probably. I did the calculations and I ran, I think, 2.5 or 3 bottles through my nitro car, which we calculated was about an hour and a half to 2 hours in the nitro car. And in my electric buggy, I ran 6 or 7 battery packs, and I have like nannies turned on. So I run them until it goes to limp mode. So I'm probably getting 13, 14 minutes, 12 to 14 minutes out of a pack. So another couple of hours in electric. So, I had 4 to 5 hours of track time with Adam Drake standing right next to me and Jason and Chicky. And then that was them driving my car, giving me feedback. So, and then on top of that, loads and loads of classroom time and the video, the beginning and ending video. All the food was included for the weekend.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so they had catered food. We all pitted together up with where the pros pit, normally on a race weekend under the tents.
Mm-hmm.
So they provided chairs and all that stuff. So all you had to do was bring your stuff. So it was amazing, awesome. And in compared to a regular race weekend, I probably spent, $300, with race entries and that kind of stuff. So it's, I think it was a great, phenomenal. It's only 30 people, so there's actually only they capped it at 30 people, and 2 people didn't show up, so 28 people. So you got a lot of individual, and all the instructors were very accessible. Like they were here for you. So if you could drive their cars, they drive your car. I learned so much about tuning, and we even they showed us how to change bearings and in the nitro cars, and even got a little lesson in pinching a cylinder, and so which was outside the curriculum. But when they were changing the bearings in my motor, they said, hey, this really needs a pinch. I was like, let's do it. So but yeah, it was great. And I've never felt as comfortable and confident as I have with my buggies that we finished up with. The last day, they did an 8-minute mock race where they basically split us up into 3 groups of based on our practice times, and we jumped out. Little asterisks to the race. Drake was going to run a couple of minutes with each one of us, and on the outlap after the tone, he hit the big double, and after he landed, his car caught on fire. So he burned his electric buddy. Yeah. So it actually only burnt the battery. He pulled it, pulled it apart, and ESC and everything still works. So kind of crazy.
It was
Yeah,
just
it's
battery?
kind of crazy. Yeah, one battery torched up, so we had to replace a battery tray, and he might replace some other stuff, just to be safe. But it all powered back on, and the ESC worked and everything. So, but anyway, so in that race, there was another girl, Juliana, I think is her name, and based on practice, I was like, okay, we're of similar pace, and she got ahead of me, and so I was in third place, and I felt confident enough to actually, run her down and actually make a pass. And I've never been able to do that. Typically, when I'm racing, I'm trying not to get past and I'm trying not to wreck. And so I asked the guys about that, and they were like, well, it's probably your setup. Like if your car is so twitchy and edgy that, as soon as the pressure gets on, you can't hold on to it. And so when we did this mock race, I was completely convinced that was the case, because I just had the first time I ever felt like I was racing and not trying not to crash in 3 years of racing. That's how comfortable I was with the car. So first time ever that I'm faster with my nitro buggy than anything else. And I always drive the wheels off of this techno truck, and I can't get to the same pace at that truck than I am with my buggies right now, which has never ever been the case. So it's crazy. I spent all weekend working on the buggies, so it was awesome. So if you're watching this and you see this next year, definitely give it a go. So
How far away is it from an airport? Because I don't want to drive 12 hours.
Yeah, I want to say 45 minutes, less than an hour, because the capital.
And it's only buggies.
Oh no! You could. They had everything up here. They had trucks, and you could run whatever you wanted. You could focus whatever you wanted. I focused on buggies because that's where I struggled the most.
Okay.
And so yeah, I ran a nitro buggy and nitro truck. Learned some very important stuff about this.
After run oil.
After run oil.
After oil.
And as you can tell, yeah, this is brand new because I've never ever used it until this weekend. But so when we fired up my nitro buggy for Drake to teach us how to tune on a very poorly tuned nitro, they all cringed and they were like, oh, he literally, I'm not exaggerating, as soon as he bumped it, as soon as it turned over one time on the bump box, it didn't start. He goes, this motor needs bearings. Like, won't, in that amount of time, like, won't. He was like, this thing needs bearings. So that's why we learned how to do bearings. And when you felt the bearings, I was like, oh, these feel nasty. And then I put it on the bearing tool and twisted it, and it was like, oh, it was disgusting. So
It was actually crunchy.
so we did that. Yes, it was nasty. So we did that.
Which engine was that? Your Ultimate?
No, so the Ultimate actually, long story on that Ultimate motor. The bottom of the arm, the bottom of the rod, the brass, whatever that's called, it's not a bearing, but a bushing.
It's like a bushing, yeah.
Disintegrated, like came apart. So that motor is laying over here in a bag so that I can replace the.
You get a rod for it.
I have a rod. I bought a rod from Drake, and I bought a front bearing, but they were out of a back bearing. They were out of front bearings. So Drake's sending some front bearings to the shop. They'll be here Thursday, so I'll finish that motor. But I'm ordering a pinch kit too. So from RayARacing.com, I think it is. He does pinch kits. So I'm going to order that and probably pinch the motor, while it's out. So position 1 RC sleeve remover. So getting a lot of plugs in here for a bunch of different companies.
Hey, at least I mean, I had the whole rod go. So when I was at Lynchburg.
Did it break?
I can't run nitro.
Not your thing?
You know what's
I'm
funny?
allergic to the fumes.
Oh, that sucks. Is it
I went
like
to Psycho Nitro Blast and came back with pneumonia.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow, that
I can't.
sucks.
I'm not doing. I can do like outdoor races, but like indoor nitro races are like a hard no for me.
Yeah,
My body just can't handle. Well, my lungs can't handle it.
right. I wonder if you got like a mask or something to
I could probably do that. That's probably what I end up doing, but then I wouldn't be able to talk with people on the mic if I pit for
Right.
them.
Yeah.
Because all you just hear.
Yeah, that would suck. I wonder, you'd have to get like the scuba thing where it's got the microphone in it inside. You look like a firefighter out there.
Just get a full respirator. He'll be all right.
Right, exactly. He's got a tank on his back. We'll call him Bubble Boy.
You don't need ears. No, it was I think it was Wicked or Psycho 2 years ago. Tater and Dakota were battling it out. And Tater had a pit guy who was down there in the pits, shirtless, no ears. I think he was shoeless. I don't know who the guy was, but I mean, they had a perfect strategy. They couldn't talk to each other. It was so loud. I think Tater actually won that race on a technicality because Dakota had a runaway, but we won't talk about that.
Crazy. Yeah, that makes me sad because I love Nitro so much. It is to me, it is. I talked about it this weekend that when I pulled the Nitro car off after it felt so good, I was like, I don't do drugs, but I have a feeling that this is what it feels like to do drugs because I think I would pay lots of money. I do pay lots of money to do this. But,
we do pay lots of money.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not as bad on our health though, unless you're allergic to the nitro, then it sucks.
Unless you get pneumonia.
Nitro might be expensive, I mean, bearings, clutches, fuel, and all that. But I spend less racing Nitro than I did in batteries when I was racing 1S pan cars. I was, running Oval 1S. I was burning through batteries in a race weekend like they were nothing.
Yeah, just so hard on them.
Yep. I mean, you're 4 minutes of...
Well, like 1S, you said?
Yeah, 1S Oval, a lot of the classes, you're 4 minutes wide open. And then we absolutely destroy the batteries. We discharge them at 40 amps, charge them at 40 amps, put them in a heat bag, and then do it again.
Yeah, that's
some 10 scale another 4 minutes wide open throttle.
That's some 10 scale stock stuff there. That's
yep.
That makes me itch.
Yeah. That makes me want that makes me like just see lipo fires. Like just,
It makes me severely itch.
So, all right, I got some we had some not drama, but discussions that I saw on Facebook. So I wanted to get you guys' opinion. Two topics that we'll start with revolutionizing RC. There was some discussions. I don't even remember who it was now, but talking about race days are too long, comparing it to golf, being at the track for 8 hours and only getting, half an hour of run time, and that to grow and thrive, that RC is going to need to make changes and be more like a golf where you could be gone for half a day and get it done. What's you guys' thoughts? I mean, I guess if you didn't read all of the posts, you may not have all the details, but just like, what are your thoughts on being gone all day and the amount of time that you spend?
So it depends on, when I was racing 10 scale and I had a local track that I went to, it was a half a day ordeal. Like we'd be wrapping up by 2-3 o'clock and I'd be on my way home, or it'd be a Tuesday night. We'd start racing at 6-7 o'clock. We'd be done by 10 and, something to do after work. But I will say, A scale, I don't have a local track, so it doesn't matter if we could wrap up at 3 o'clock. I'm not home till 7, 8, 9, just because I have to drive the 3 hours home. So it depends on, like, obviously, like if I'm going to go race some, when I want to go race in the parking lot, no, I definitely do not want to be gone all day. And when I go parking lot racing, they do a really good program. We're usually done. I think the latest I've ever been there was 4 o'clock. and it's just 40 minutes from me, so I'm usually home at a decent time. But
I think
yeah.
The comment was we spend too much time qualifying, so they wanted to like chop it down, more racing, less qualifying.
So we were talking about Clayton earlier. Those exact words I've watched him. He was on, I think he was on with Runner with Rags or somebody. He was on with somebody, and he said it. He said we spend too much time qualifying. We need more racing.
Maybe that's who
I mean,
made this post. I don't know.
No, this was probably 3 years ago.
I mean, yeah, that's the problem, I think, is that people keep saying they want to do like shorter race days. Well, I understand the shorter race days because that's basically what we do for club racing. You're done by like 4 at the latest. But even for race scale, but like people will say we want to do more racing, we want more heads up racing, but they never actually do it.
Yeah.
On like a grand scale. And like you said, that post was like from 3 years ago. Why are we doing it now?
Pro-Am, they did heads up qualifying, but when it came down to it, it was just qualifying still.
Yeah, but it was different. I did.
It was
like
different. It was a lot of fun, but when it came down to it, all that qualifying did was just help you got your car right, and it didn't really, and it placed you in your main. I mean, I was in intermediate. We had 16 drivers, so we had 1 main. So really, that qualifying didn't matter. All that mattered was that main, that the 30-minute main.
So what would you guys' thoughts be about one qualifier and double mains where they both count?
Honestly, I say scrap qualifying. Do a F1 NASCAR style qualifying. You got open up the track for 30 minutes. You get put in a position based on your fastest lap time, and then do triple mains or an hour for nitro or something like that. Triple mains for electric, do 45 minutes for nitro.
We did do that once at Loganville, my local track, and it went pretty well. We just got rained out.
Oh.
But do you think that it would change how people, you think it would increase?
I think that's how people would, I think that would change how people perceive it, because it would make it'd be a lot more interesting to watch going in.
When you do these 2 and 3 rounds of qualifying, 4 rounds of qualifying, it gets, especially when it's like, if it's rocket round, by the time you get to the third, everybody's like, this, it doesn't matter anymore. They're like, I already got my fast run. Right. And if you do where you seed based on lap time, just like NASCAR, just like F1, just like every other form of motorsport. Nope. I just lost lights.
His lighting changed.
Oh, you know what? I just realized my power supply has yep. All right. Sorry, but so you do your hot lap qualifying, you get in your position, you do the triple mains. It then makes it to where every single time you hit the track, it actually matters. When you do rocket round, you only need 1 good round. When you do qual points, you need 2 good rounds. So doing that format, when you hit that track, it matters versus, and then also with the exception of your seeding qual round, whatever you want to call it, every time you hit the track, you're racing people where that, because everybody gets on the track and they qualify like they're racing anyway. It doesn't matter if it's heads up. You can, I race direct. I know, I tell them, hey, you're on your own clock. You're racing the clock, not each other, but they still battle like they're racing each other. It doesn't matter.
So what if we threw something out like there's 1 10-minute qualifying period. You get your 10-minute qualifying period, and it is your top 3 laps or your top 3 average, or I don't like so Adrenaline, when they do their indoor, they do your top 3 laps in consecutive laps, but then you get some idiot who crashes in front of you and then just jump back on the track, and then that's at the third hot lap, and you just had like your Dear Diary 2 laps, and then your third one gets screwed up. But what if your top top 5 average or top 3 average or whatever, because those are all things that live RC, provides, and you
Yeah.
use that as your qualifier. But you have just like NASCAR, you have a 10-minute, or you have a fixed qualifying period, and you go out, you do your laps, and if you throw down 5 heaters and you're like, I'm good, you pull off, and you don't have to run 2.5 minutes if you don't want to, or you get 10 minutes. And
They do the same for the Mud Boss class at Snowbirds. They do the same thing. They open the track. I want to say it's like 10 minutes. The track's open, and every single Mud Boss, you have 10 minutes to get in, get some laps, and they seed you based on that before they even start qualifying. But still, I don't know why they do it. They seed, they qual, and then they do a bump and run where they start from the Q main to the A main, and they bump 2 to 3 drivers every time. But yeah, I mean, you can be like, hey, Nitro Buggy, track's open, 10 minutes, go. Close down the track, electric truck, 10 minutes, go. And then you build your heat sheets, and you can try, double, if you want a shorter race day, double mains. If you want a long race day, triple mains. And do when it comes to Nitro, do a single 30, 45 minute, whatever, make it even-ish. Nitro always gets more track time. That's just how it works.
Well, if you were doing top 3 or something like that, if you're like, somebody's trying to race you and you're like, dude, I'm not trying to race, I'm trying to you could just pull off, let them go, and then just start you would incentivize you to pull off and get some open track and get away from other people. And it wouldn't penalize you, because then you could go get your 3 laps or 4 or 5 or 6 or whatever.
I had to do that at Roarnets a couple years ago. It was just, I went out for it was my first time ever doing a seeding round. And I went out there, and it was rough. I mean, there was 10 drivers. It was an amateur class. We were running 21.5 buggy. I couldn't get a clean run, and I was talking to a friend of mine who's a pro, and I'm like, hey, this is rough. I mean, I don't know how y'all do this. And he's like, if you're struggling, if there's somebody in your way, he's like, you have 5 minutes, or I think, he's like, you have 5 minutes. You only need 3 laps. You need 3 consecutive good laps. Just pull off. And so I went back, and when I came up for seeding round 2, I did that. I had someone slow in front of me. I couldn't get around them. I'm like, all right. I stopped for about 5-6 seconds, and they got away from me. It gave me enough open track. I got 3 clean laps.
So what are your thoughts, Cade?
I mean, again, I want this. I want more racing. I want these things, but we need race directors to actually fulfill them, to actually go through with them.
Yeah. Well, we have a track, so I'm the track owner.
Please do this,
director. So I'm thinking,
please do this. I'm asking you to.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm asking some. These are not hypotheticals. These are like, I'm thinking out loud, like getting you guys' opinion, because Chris is my race director, and I'm the track owner. So I'm thinking seriously, and a lot of people, Homer at Tilt Yard tried to do something where it was like he was doing like 25-minute qualifying, which I think was too much. But now
Homer wanted to do last year. Homer wanted to do a 20-minute electric mains with a battery swap it halfway through.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
he tried to do some really crazy stuff. It didn't. I don't think it ever took off. But.
No, he had unfortunately he got pounded by the weather at almost every single one of his events. He didn't actually get to do his 20-minute electric main.
Yeah.
But
I'm serious. I think like we're gonna have to do some thinking about it and make sure that everything works out. But at the end of the day, the folks that come to our track are, I think pretty reasonable folks. Let's try some new stuff. Like I'm thinking out, off the top of my head, 10-minute open qualifying. And, after 10 minutes of qualifying, we'll have practice, and you'll have the ability to practice and get your car, going till say 10 o'clock in the morning. Then you run one qualifier for open 10 minutes, and it's your top 3 average laps or top 5, whatever we determine. Because my track is about 30 seconds, 28 to, well, probably 28 seconds. You think, Chris? Probably 28 seconds is like the average.
I think the fastest people were probably in the high 20s. I think I was right around 30 even.
Yeah, so 10
I got a
minutes
clean
is
run.
10 minutes is 18 laps ish. We could look at our mains and see what people are getting in 10 minutes. So it gives you an opportunity. Honestly, you could even run 3 or 4 laps and you're like, oh, these aren't the tires. Pull in, change tires. You know, you can change tires in a minute or two and go out and put some different tires on a different back half of qualifying. But I think we try 10-minute quals, a single 10-minute qual, and then double, heck, even, I don't know, we'll look at the class, maybe AAA mains and 30-minute nitro. That way the electric guys don't complain about the nitro guys, you know, because they're getting the exact same amount of time. So I'm serious. I think I really want to try this. So,
Well, we have.
I mean, I implore you to do it.
yeah.
I mean, what your next event's going to be a VCS and a truth race, right? Back to
We do
back.
VCS. Yeah, we do VCS on Saturday, and then Sunday will be a truth race.
Yes, definitely. I mean, we do a Saturday standard VCS format, 3 rounds in a main. Hopefully, it ends up being 2 rounds in a main. Because
yeah,
I think their cutoff is like if it's over 70, they do 2 rounds. I don't remember what it was, but then
more than 70.
yeah, and then Sunday we just we'll put together something and be like, hey, this is how Sunday is going to work. We're going to seed and we're going to race.
Yeah, and if it ends up being a little bit shorter of a day, that's okay because people can get home and get ready for work on
I mean
Monday. So I say we try it.
I got a 3-hour drive home.
So what's it going to take for you to come up and race with us on the 16th of August? We're not 12 hours from you. We're about half that. I've driven down there for you. Yeah.
Money.
Yeah.
What's your local track?
My 2 local tracks are the Barn RC Raceway in Barnesville, which is south of Atlanta, and Loganville RC Complex, which is east of Atlanta. East of it this way.
Do you live in Atlanta?
I live close enough to Atlanta. I live in Metro Atlanta.
Okay. So the good news is, so you can fly to Charlottesville from Atlanta direct, and it's super cheap. And that's only 40 minutes. I'll pick you up at the airport, and free Uber from the airport, and we'll even give you free room and board. We have a spare bedroom, and you have to share the RV with Chris, but there's 2 queen beds in the RV, so we got space in the RV. Yeah, no, he actually, when we travel together, he gets the front queen, I get the back queen. So
I sleep like a baby up in that. I don't know why. When I'm in last year when I was in my buddy's RV, I had this tiny little little more than a twin size bed, but then it had a corner hacked off of it, so you really had less than a twin size. It was weird. I would crawl up in that little cubby and go. I was out, and I do the same thing up in that little attic space in the RV, whatever you want to call it. It's the spot over the driver's cab. So
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I have a Class C RV, so it's based on like a van, like a big van.
E450 or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'd love to have you, make it up one day. Have you what's the farthest north you've raced?
Furthest north I've raced. It was a while ago. It was in Charlotte. I raced at I forgot the actual track. I think it's closed down now. What's that track by Charlotte, North Carolina?
Thunder Valley.
Thunder Valley, yeah.
Thunder Alley, yeah.
No,
Charlotte?
No, not Thunder Alley, Thunder Valley. It was Days of Thunder. Days of Thunder.
Oh.
Days of Thunder? It was a while ago, but
yeah. Is it the guy who was like the super sandy driveway, like pretty sandy, but it was a container on with the
yes,
driver
that was that.
Yeah, that's Days of Thunder. So he went out of business. That was the guy. Brian Burnett built his track, and I want to say they hauled in like $100,000 of dirt or something like that to build a track. They spent a bunch of money on that track, and it sucks that they went out of business. But it was a cool track. They did some different stuff there.
So you're in Atlanta, you being in Atlanta and former big on-road guy, have you ever done snowbirds down in Orlando?
No, because it's a little bit far. It's a little bit far.
I love snowbirds. I'm hoping I get to go next year. I will take my parking lot cars and clean them up, make them pretty, and take them to snowbirds. I don't care. Snowbirds is
I want to
for
go
me.
there.
Yeah, I'm not competitive enough in on road to actually make anything happen at snowbirds. It's more about the experience. It's 6-7 days of people I've been racing with for years, and I've met the couple times I've gone. And
I
so
was
it's more about
okay at
just
on-road
being there.
racing, but I don't know. I just like the idea of working on my lines more than working on the car, trying to get it to work.
Yeah.
Even though
I
you
agree.
kind of still do it with on-road.
Yeah. Well, let's say for anybody who is like hardcore, only runs off road, has never picked up an on road car, if you want to get better at off road, spend some time racing on road.
Doing on-road.
When I first started off road, I started with monster trucks, and that was just quick side by side, 12-second laps, and just like Monster Jam, they do the side by side racing. It's over before it starts, really. When I started track racing, I was doing off road, and I struggled. I mean, I could barely get around the track. When I found out I was about snowbirds, I was like, you know what? Next year, I want to do this. I spent an entire year dedicated only to on road. That's all I ran. I went to 180. I went to it used to be in Sumter, South Carolina, Soda City.
There is a place in Tennessee called Apex.
Yeah, I've never been to Apex. That's Anderson. Why can I not think it? Eric Anderson. That's his track.
Okay.
It's a fantastic facility. I've seen plenty of pictures. I got plenty of friends that have gone there and raced there, and locals there. But yeah, so I spent a whole year doing nothing but on road. Go to snowbirds, have an amazing time at snowbirds, come home from snowbirds, and we have a big trophy race here locally. It was an off-road race. I built a car, raced, and I hadn't touched an off-road car in a year. And when I threw the thing on the track, I was like, wait, since when do I know how to do this? It was
when did I get good?
Else.
What just happened?
Yeah. It's like, wait, I can get around the track. I'm not crashing every turn. I'm not casing every jump. So on-road teaches you your line, finding your line, teaches you how to pass without crashing, how to get past without crashing. That was the one thing I was really bad. Like if I knew there'd be someone faster than me behind me, and I would try my hardest to not, like, I'd either dump myself or wreck them when they were trying to pass me, and I hated it.
Yeah,
I've been
for me, it's
tempted.
like.
Go
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good.
Well, for me, it's like trying to racing like 8th scale. I feel like one thing that I learned from on-road is having chill, like just being able to back down a little bit and still go fast or fast enough to keep up with someone rather than just go balls to the wall all of the time and crash into somebody in the middle of a hairpin and ruin both of our races.
Yeah.
Because I have absolutely done that a couple times.
Yeah, Jason Thorne and I have postulated doing some parking lot practice. Just taking, we both have 8-scale GT cars, and I've got a VTA car, and then I've got what's the Tamiya one? It's like
the TTO2.
Well, I have the one.
Euro truck. No, the one.
Whatever the Porsche is. Is it the one? I think it's the one. Yeah, whatever it is. It's it's basically, it's like a semi-builder's kit, but we did a World of RC had a endurance race, and it was like 6 hours, I think, something like that. And you had to build the car. You had to pick up your car and build it on the spot the night before, and then they got impounded. And it was box stock 2. You could pick whatever car you wanted, whatever body you wanted, but you had to build it, had to be stock. So for parts, we bought a whole extra kit so that we had, we like semi-built the kit. So if we broke something, we could like swap in the front suspension instead of having to take it all the way apart. So I have that kit that's semi-built, but still in the box. But I think it'd be fun. I've got a transponder loop. We could, set it up and do some timing. Really just haven't done it because the way that the local track that races in Manassas, they do lane markers with fire hose, with retired fire hose. And I was like, oh, I'll get some of that. Yeah, it's expensive. Like it's still like, $1 a foot or something like that. And you need like 500 feet of it to make a somewhat decent track.
I know a guy who works in the city of Norfolk Motor Pool, and he helped us out when we were trying to get some parking lot racing going a few years ago. So you got to know somebody.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
a good way to go. A good way to go as well is decommissioned sea rope. Like, the rope that they use that like piers and stuff like that to keep boats attached?
Yeah.
If we only knew somebody who worked at like Huntington Ingalls or something, somebody that
you act like I don't even go in the shipyard.
Yeah. He works at he's a programmer for HII.
Yeah. My office is nowhere near the water. I'm in the old mall in Hampton.
Nice. Well, make some
it's close enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I know that's what they do in Australia as well, or some tracks in Australia.
That's smart because that stuff is heavy, and you slam into that, it's not going to move too much.
Well, I was curious, like, is it Hoodie that has the it's like fire hose, but it's like, I don't know, probably 2 inches that they use for their lane markers. And I guess it would be probably 1.5 inch or 2 inch fire hose, but it's not the big cloth one. It's like the rubber hose. So it looks really good on a track. I'm pretty sure that's what Hoodie has in their indoor 10 scale track.
When you say Hoodie, do you mean like the X-ray compound?
Yeah, I say Hoodie, but it's Hoodie Arena, isn't it? In the X-ray compound,
the Hoodie Arena.
Arena. Yeah. So it's the X-ray compound. Yeah. Well,
keep in mind they got Dosh, so.
Well, yeah. So, but I'm pretty sure that when I looked at their track, I'm pretty sure that that's what they use is decommissioned hose. But if anybody is watching this and you know how to get any form of lane marker chain, dividers, message me.
I mean, you can always, you want to just dump a bunch of money on
I do not
Lake Track from CRC.
No, I do not want to dump a bunch of money into a practice track for on-road because I do not want to host on-road races.
Yeah, no. I've thought about, because I have a timing loop, I've thought about finding an open parking lot and telling all my buddies with NASCARs to come out and just do some parking lot oval. I think that would be a lot of fun.
That would be fun.
That might be my next step as a NASCAR because they're pretty cool. I do have the let's see if you can see
the sprint car,
the low-seat sprint car
in there.
Nice. Yeah, they have they run here at they call it Friday Night Quickie, and so it's you do a 15-minute open practice and it's your top 3 laps, and then it's a 50-lap main, which I don't remember how long 50 laps. They're like 4-second laps, something like that. It's not a huge track.
150 seconds, which is
There's
it's probably close to 10 minutes.
6 minutes.
6 minutes? Okay. So yeah, I think that's probably it. It's probably 6 to 8 minutes, whatever lap time that makes out to be. But yeah, it's
watch
cool.
out for those NASCARs. They're addicting. I have 3 because I keep buying them.
Well, the low C, you can change your radio. That's it. Everything else has to be a 2S.
Everything else has got to be box stock.
Yeah, you can only run their tires. You can sauce your tires. That's it. And
that's what I wish stock kind of was. It's like That's what I wish spec class was in 10 scale instead of like I understand like you don't need all the hop up and stuff like that, but people think they do, and that makes it more expensive.
If you want to race spec classes, go into oval. I mean, they have probably have a dozen different classes, and half of them are true spec classes. You have to run this battery, this motor, this style chassis. You have to run every stock class for oval is you have to run this motor, whether it's a Tekin or a USGT motor or
VTA's that way. VTA's you got to run this tire, you got to run. Now it's this motor. It used to be.
That's another reason why.
motors.
That's why I liked on road as well, because it was like more regimented. You had spec tires. You had just rules that actually worked.
Yeah, on road had because VTA is a spec class. You have a choice of 2 tires. You have a choice of 1 motor. And then you have a choice of it's like 2 dozen bodies or so. Then
and they all look cool.
USGT is another class. You got to run certain tires, certain motor. The problem is USGT is dying off. With LMH came out, and everybody's been ditching USGT from their program for LMH because it's a lot more fun. Those hypercar bodies have so much downforce. They run LMH with a 25.5 turn motor, and they're doing 21.5 stock car lap times with a slower motor because of just how well those bodies handle. But so RC Discharger, for anybody who doesn't know about them, they track built brand created by a racer solving real problems. It started as a fix for bulky hot resistor banks. I'm sure you've seen them. You said you used to run stock. You got the, back in the day, it was the light bulbs connected together. Then it was the resistor banks. He built a system that uses a battery in lieu of a resistor bank. And it's got this crazy board in it. So it directs the power where it needs to go. So when you can discharge 2 batteries at the same time with your 2-bay iCharger, and it dumps it into the battery. And then when you charge, it actually pulls it back from the battery, and that actually charges with a cleaner sine wave, and does make, believe it or not, and I've seen plenty of people online talking about it. It's all hype. The RC Discharger does make your batteries perform better. The RC Discharger, if you are someone who is advocate about or avid cycling your batteries, the RC Discharger will make your batteries last longer cycling versus a resistor bank, because it is a cleaner sine wave going in and out of your battery. But anyway, I told him I'd do a plug. Anyway, the new product is RC Discharger just dropped a high output LED pit light made for their car stands and regenerative dischargers. You can see this is just sitting behind. This is the iCharger sitting here. This is his unit under the iCharger, and the light is attached to it. How do I go to the next picture? I don't remember how to do this. Oh, here we go. He also makes a car stand for the unit, and the light attaches to the unit. It's bright, clean, focused light right where you need it, making it way easier to spot loose screws, worn parts, or leaks without messing around with your phone or flashlight. More convenient than a standard pit light, because another pit light is just something else on your pit. And I can say this thing is actually bright. That is actually what is lighting my studio right now. That is the only source of light that I'm using. You can check it out at rcdischarger.com. They are for sale now.
Sweet.
Yep.
Sweet.
You got any last minute additions? Where are you going to be racing next, Cade?
I'm going to Wicked Weekend.
Nice.
Ooh.
That's this
Which
next
should
weekend?
be, it's in my state, so it should be this week, next weekend, yes. The weekend after this weekend.
Oh, so it's not.
So yeah, it should be, is the 23rd to the 26th.
Okay.
Yep.
Of this month.
All right.
Alrighty.
Yeah, that should be pretty fun.
Good.
I will say, like, one last thing. I will say that it doesn't seem like I was going to Wicked Weekend this year than they last year.
Yeah, there's only like 400 entries right now, I think.
400 entries
Oh,
right now, and last year was like 900.
Wow. Same time
lot
frame,
of-
2 weeks out.
A lot of the big
Yeah.
races are smaller this year.
Yeah, we were actually, Jason Thorne and I were talking about this.
why.
I mean, Silver State had 1,100 2 years ago. I think they had under 500 this year.
Well,
Yeah.
but it's crazy because I know that LCRC is breaking record every race. Last weekend or last race, they had 430 entries.
Yeah.
And it was like, that's
local tracks are popping off right now. Most
Yeah.
of them.
Now, I will say, this is a stable crowd. You got people coming from 5 or 6 states around, and it's the same folks every time. A lot of guys are driving 5, 6, 7, 8 hours to this track. I drive 5.5, 6 hours in my RV because it takes a lot longer, but pulling a trailer. But yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting. The race time events seem to be suffering this year. But and I know gas prices are expensive, everything, eggs are expensive, whatever. But it's definitely a challenge. But like I say, I think LCRC has broken I think they broke a record for all of the races last year over year, and this year I think they're on pace to do it again. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Last week, last race that they had, they did an aerial shot, and it looked like a Mugen. Like Mugen is always 400 plus. It's, there's people, trailers are parked in every crevice that you can park, and that's what it looked like. Like they have 15 acres and they use every bit of it. So,
Wow.
but
All right.
yeah. So would love to get you up in our neck of the wood, Cade. Love to see you come up.
Eventually.
Yeah, we got some spot. We'll try to help you do it on the cheap.
Okay.
Get you a place to crash, and maybe you make a video while you're up here and make us famous.
There you go.
And we'll be
Famous
RC
is stretching
famous
it.
too.
Famous is really
Hey.
stretching it.
YouTube, we'll be YouTube RC famous. How about that?
I'll take
There you
that.
go.
We take that.
All righty.
Well, I appreciate the time, and thanks for jumping on. And I guess
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. As we always say, we'll see you at the track.
Speed them out. Down and quiet.
I just noticed in our intro video today. Did we lose you?
No, my camera just started flickering. That's weird.
Camera made an oopsie.